active, but it's not, it's not active the same way CBD is. It's different.
CBD, so you could count as part of the CBD ratio because it doesn't work unless it's heated.
No, so it's still the way that they kind of calculate the ratio, so it's there, because the assumption is almost all of it will be heated, because almost all of it is heated. But only I am recommending that we try some of this raw as well.
But is CBDA active just
Yes.
by itself? It
Yes,
is.
but it's not the same active as CBD. CBD is remarkably active. CBDA, we know about 5 things that it does. CBD, we know about 20. That doesn't mean CBDA doesn't do more, it just means we haven't studied it well enough yet. We need to look at it more. I'll get into that. We'll get into a chart and I'll show you how that all works. But you were thinking like a pharmacist there. That was the right way to look at all this stuff, right?
It's confusing.
I know. Believe me, I had to slug through this. That's why I wrote the book. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So anyway, the endocannabinoid system is the system built into us. It's a very simple system. It consists of 2 cannabinoid receptors, CB1 and CB2, and the CB1 receptor is more dominant in the brain, the CB2 receptor more in the periphery, but they both are in both places. 2 signaling molecules, which are neurotransmitters in the brain and are immune agents in the immune system. They're highly anti-inflammatory. And those are AEA, or anandamide, and 2AG. And there are 5 enzymes. And the first enzyme, NAPE, makes AEA, DAGL alpha and gamma make 2AG, and FAH breaks down AEA, and MAGL breaks down 2AG, and that's the system. That system wasn't discovered until much later in time, so the cannabinoid 1 and 2 receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors, were discovered in the 1980s, so this is a very newly discovered system. And because of that, it hasn't really worked its way into the medical curricula or literature or any of that. This is the most important system for controlling chronic illness. It has arachidonyl ethanolamine, or anandamide, is AEA. That was discovered in '92, and 2-arachidonyl glycerol, 2AG, was discovered in 1995. It turns out that AEA is the 3rd most common neurotransmitter in the brain, and we didn't know it existed until 1992. Anyone know what the first 2 are?
Norepinephrine and serotonin.
No! Those are minor little players.
GABA.
GABA and glutamate. God, you've lived with me all these years. How could you say that?
I'm sorry.
Okay. It's all right. I forgive you. So the 5 enzymes make and break it down. AEA and 2AG, like I said, are synthesized by those 2 and broken 3 and broken down by the other 2. AEA is the 3rd most common neurotransmitter, as I said, in the central nervous system. This is a study that was done by Patcher and Kunos in the Federation of European Biochemical Journal in 2013. It says modulating the endocannabinoid system activity may have therapeutic potential in almost all diseases affecting humans, including, and I won't read through the whole list, but you can see that's quite a list. And then more. That isn't a complete list. Got it? Okay. So
they prevent cancers.
what?
They prevent cancers.
I certainly think they do, and I'm basing that on what I've read, and I bet my life on it, and I've won so far. I'm serious about it. I started taking this in various forms in 2014, when I was diagnosed with almost sure prostate cancer. I had a positive MRI that was 90% sure it was prostate cancer, and I had a 9.5 PSA that the first year I took it, it went down to 8.3, and the next year it went up to 13.5, and everybody was sure I had it, and they biopsied me negative. All right, so I bet on it. I can't tell you for sure it stopped me from having it. Maybe I didn't have it all along, but I sure am happy with the outcome because it looked pretty bad. I'd much rather take this than a prostatectomy. So anyway, it's involved in regulating homeostatic mechanisms throughout the body. The endocannabinoid system interacts with plant cannabinoids without being suppressed and replaced. And you have to understand, that's what our medications do mostly. When we give a medication, it's working in a system that it usually suppresses and then replaces. This system does not suppress and replace, it actually activates and then goes and works with it around the body. Some plant cannabinoids work directly on the receptors, but some don't. CBD does not work on the cannabinoid receptor. It actually works to increase the availability of anandamide, so it activates the endocannabinoid system to do its job. A picture is emerging of a system that polices the body's build-up and breakdown functions and attempts to balance them. When disease or injury intrude, the very same endocannabinoid system intervenes to restore balance. Endocannabinoid system interacts with itself, endorphins, hormones, cytokines, growth factors, pleasure molecules, the microscopic connective tissue system, immune cells, bone buildup and breakdown, nerve and glial cell inflammation, cell regeneration, and apoptosis. So you can see why this is an important system. Now let me tell you how serious the system is. They've developed several drugs that are just imitations of THC or CBD. And then they've developed a few other ones that actually manipulated anandamide and tried to increase its ability or block the CB1 receptor. The one that blocked the CB1 receptor was released, it was a drug called Rimonabant. It was not released in the United States, but it was in 50 countries around the world. And they had to take it off the market because people were becoming suicidally depressed on it. The second one, they were in a phase 2 study where they were giving doses after they'd done animal studies that were shown to be safe to humans, and its job was to enhance the activity of anandamide. Really, it was an anandamide reuptake inhibitor, and that's what CBD does too. On the 5th dose, 5 of the 6 patients they were testing this on developed brain damage. 1 died, 3 still had it, and they had to stop the study. And the reason it's a system you've got to be careful of messing around with is it works on all these other things in the body, and you can just see if you mess those up, they're going to go wild. It's not a safe system to try to intervene with at this point. That's not going to stop anybody from trying. And I'm sure there'll be good cannabinoid drugs that are developed, but the first ones have been real clunkers. So this is a hard one to see, but basically what it says is that, let's focus a little better.
That's good.
That's all right. So the endocannabinoid system works on itself, the endorphin system, the vanilloid system, the GABA glutamate, catecholamine serotonin system, the HPA, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis system, the PPAR gamma system, and the immune system. That's all. So again, you can see why this is an important system not to blow up, and you want to really be gentle with the way that we deal with these different systems here, because they're responsible for well-being, restoration of normal function, analgesia, pleasure, acute to chronic pain and back, mood, anxiety and pain, birth of new nerve cells, and acute to chronic inflammation and back. And so these are just critical systems that this works with. These are the plant cannabinoids now. That is a leaf of the plant magnified 50 times. And those are actually the trichomes that contain the cannabinoids on the leaf. To the naked eye, it looks just like a leaf, but when you get a close up like this, you can see it has all of these glandular things coming out of it. This is a pretty ripe plant here. Plant-based cannabinoids, there's no lethal dose. Multiple plant cannabinoids are analgesic, anti-inflammatory, anti-tumoral, anti-proliferative, so they also prevent tumors from spreading as easily, anti-nausea, neuroprotective, anti-seizure, anti-metabolic, among many others. There are at least 9 medically active plant cannabinoids in the various strains of the plant. It is more likely to be double that amount. These are the ones we know about, but there's a lot more to learn. Combined, these phytocannabinoids have effects that are much more potent than the sum of their individual parts. This is synergy, or the ensemble effect. Some people call it the entourage effect, but it's really an ensemble effect where each part has its own part to play. The sum of their researched effects are quite astounding in what is likely the most medicinal plant ever discovered. So these are them. Again, I don't like focus here. Come on, focus on. So there's a small slide. I just want to show you that if you look at this, THC, CBD, and THCV cover 27 of the 30 known effects of cannabis. These others, there's a lot of overlap on all this stuff, but none of them approach these things in the same way. And we're talking about huge list of different things that are dealt with, and I'm gonna read it to you because you can't see it. Analgesia, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, pleasure, well-being, neuroprotective, antiemetic, anti-proliferative, antispasmodic, bone formation, sleep promoting, anti-epileptic, euphoriant, anti-anxiety, antidepressant, antioxidant, vasorelaxant, antibacterial, antipsychotic, antidiarrheal, immunosuppressant, anti-ischemic, anti-psychotic, I'm sorry, the other one was anti-psoriatic, appetite loss, appetite stimulant, anti-diabetic, anti-cholesterol, antimicrobial, antifungal, and anti-glaucoma. Other than that, the plant doesn't do much.
I was gonna say, it's not really very good for you.
So if you look in the bottom here, I also wrote in the total properties. THC has 16 medicinal properties, CBD 20, THCV. That's tetrahydrocannabivarin. It's as rare as hen's teeth, but it comes from a sub-Saharan African plant. And we in Marin County have a strain of it that is going to be a remarkable medical plant that's just getting started. So
What's the strain name?
it's called Black Beauty, and it's black. I've never.
When you talk about this sativas,
Yeah.
this ruderalis, the ruderalis is foreign to me. I know the sativa and I know the
Indica.
indigo.
Yeah, the ruderalis is foreign to everybody. So the ruderalis is a little stubby plant. It grows to be about this big off the table here.
Yeah.
But it grows in various parts of Asia and Europe, and it's a strain that is some people think isn't distinctly different and is just a stunted indica, but the geneticists lately have said no, it's really a distinct, separate kind of species of plant.
And there's a THC and the CBDs and it has the
It
same
has all the
stuff.
same stuff in it, but they're different ratios than some of the others, and they're different properties. These plants, the general line is that the indicas are relaxing and soothing and help you go to sleep and relax your muscles, and the sativas are energizing and cerebral and really get you thinking and being creative. The truth is, most of that's BS, and a lot of these plants are hybrids of everything, and they can do anything, and every individual is different from all of them.
So how do you know when you're getting the same plant? Or
So-
when you go from store to store, you go different.
So you're bringing a great point up. So here's the problem. Right now, the way this system works is people can grow plants and have a license for that. They can do manufacturing with the plants and make tinctures and other kinds of things with it. They can have a distribution license where they have to track and trace everything, and they keep every dispensary has to have a distributor to get it from the grower to the dispensary, get it from the manufacturer to the dispensary, and the distributor has to keep meticulous records of where it all came from, that it's been tested and certified and all the other stuff. And there's a delivery license. Those are the basic 4 licenses that exist. The problem is that the growers grow what they grow, and then when that's out, they grow something else. And some growers consistently grow the same plant, but most are just, growing the fastest plants they can grow to have as many harvests as they can while the weather is nice and all the other stuff, and then some grow inside and they just grow year round, and they keep changing strains. And so the same dispensary is very likely to have different strains all the time, and not the same strain over and over, and there are multiple growers that sell at different times to different dispensaries. So we like to work with one in West Marin. It's called Synergy Wellness, and he grows consistently the same plants the same way every time. They're organic. There's no pesticide that touches them. He's very careful and meticulous about what he does.
Does he grow them there on premise, or does
He has been.
get
His
them-
wife has told him he's got to move out of the house, and so he's looking for some other place to grow them. And he's part of the research consortium, and that's what we've been working on to get everybody up to snuff to be legal and do this the way it should be done.
What's the name of the company? Synergy what?
Synergy Wellness,
Synergy.
and the website is synergycbd.com. So listen to this. This guy's got a 4,000 person dispensary. Now,